So I was quite shocked that none of you, when we were talking or watching this earlier, that immediately when Esdeath said to the minister, I'd really like to kind of find love.
I realized it in this episode, and when they were going over the criteria of what type of man she want, I was in that group chat like, wait a minute. Oh!
My favorite thing about doing fresh takes ever is honestly the group chat in between it.
because hearing or reading in this case our raw reactions, it makes it all worth it.
It does, and I'm just like, I never know how people are going to take things. I'm just waiting. I'm like, how long is it going to take them to realize what's going on here? And it luckily happened as fast as what they thought. There's some other stuff that's been happening in earlier episodes. It hasn't been caught on quite yet, but we'll get there because it'll be a lot more, I don't want to say open later. But I've compared Yang to, or I should say Leone to Yang quite a bit.
Yes.
To people when I watch the show. Mike, you haven't seen Ruby, but there's a joke where there's this cat faunus, Neon, that is a roller skater, and they're in a fighting tournament. And she goes, well, I had to literally teach you how to roller skate, but I don't know how good you'd be at it because you're so, top heavy.
Okay.
The same joke is basically, oh, don't worry, Lubbock has a lot harder time because of the weight difference between me. Oh! I was like,
okay,
Leone, your boobs are as big as your head. You
and
have
then
to know
one
where
time
that's
I was like, how do these boys have six packs already?
One thing I've also noticed
like, I don't give this anime logic.
Hey, they're
anime doesn't have to make sense.
One thing I've also noticed, and I didn't realize until this again my third time watching it, no males in this entire anime have nipples.
Never question it.
Interesting.
Never question it. Just don't.
I was just like, they just didn't draw them. I didn't realize that till now. I was like, huh. Like that, okay, but that's fine. But, so we get to meet the longest standing group of weirdos in the show.
The Injustice League. I mean the Jaegers.
I have to ask, out of our newest group of weirdos, who do you think you're going to like the most?
Probably Kurame.
Kurame?
I'm kind of like the guy that bought with the fish.
Wave, yeah. So it's the Navy guy is Wave. You've got Kurame, who, oh boy, how could you tell that was Akame's sister?
We'll never know.
I love every time that snack bag gets brought up, they have to redo the subtitle on it. It's every time it's brought up in any episode ever. They have to, again, let you know that says Kurame Snacks on it. There's Bowls, who is the guy who is from the Incendiary Squad. There's Run, who is the angel-looking mofo that's
okay, he is kind of cute, not gonna lie. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, there's him. There's Dr. Stylish, who later on has a Minister Honest style naming convention about him. You'll get that later. And then my favorite dumb bitch is back.
With our robot arms. Totally not a JoJo reference.
Hey, she had a gun in her mouth before, so it's not shocking.
She has a German technology.
So are we going to see her in a more regular fashion now?
Unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you get to see her. This whole group is at this. They're around for a while. They're the main unit that is staying around.
So I wasn't wrong when I called them the Injustice League.
Yeah, you're not far off. They're. Oh man, it's kind of like that. But I always in my head the Injustice League is the exact mirror opposite of everybody else, which I guess is kind of there. I'm trying to think of a more of
the Brotherhood of Evil.
Brotherhood of Evil. I was more like a villainous version of the Outsiders, where it's a big group of randos that aren't big names. But yeah, they're gonna be around for a while. And I didn't know how I was gonna feel about Bowls the first time I saw him, but I was like, wow, he is such an anime character that he was like, I'm sorry, I'm really shy. Uh, um, not knowing anything or like not saying anything. Probably after finishing it, my favorite members of that crew are Wave. Well, I should say it's Korame, Wave, and Bulls. All of them are great, but though they really nail personalities for people. And yeah, I just love I love the word Jaeger so much, but I'm just realizing how much it's overused in things.
Like when it was like Attack on Titan.
I started
Look, I was
noticing
like a
its
king it out.
overuse. I started
Yep.
noticing its overuse ever since Pacific Rim.
That's the first time I ever heard the word was Pacific Rim, and then it was Attack on Titan.
I just, my mind's like Attack on Titan.
Yep, and for those of you who don't know, it literally means hunter in Japanese. It's
Yeah,
a great
sense.
word. It's a great word. I love it, and for crying out loud, the symbol on my hat is from a OC that I have who gets adopted by Yang and Blake, but her original last name was Jaeger. Like, it means hunter. It works a lot. So but I was just like, what's her name gonna be? I'm like, of course it is. Why isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what I was going to show you guys is that I mentioned before that there's a lot of fourth wall breaks in here, and that Wave gets nervous that they're going to go meet the minister right away. So this is off one of the panels that I was reading while I was at work.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of that going on in there. It's like, next chapter. And it's never one single character that's a fourth wall breaker. It's everybody. Everyone is fully aware except for the people that aren't fully aware. And I'm like, normally there's one person that does it, but just it's everybody. Yeah, it's there's never a shortage of people that are ready to just get murdered in this show, and it's something I kind of appreciate because like it's hard to come up with characters coming from a person who just tries to write fan fiction. Coming up with a character that's easily unlovable is great, but it's like you could have gotten 3 or 4, like 10 episodes out of the 3 beasts. They got an episode and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I'm just
but I do like that the tournament was like 10 seconds.
How it didn't turn into like a 5-episode arc.
It wasn't like a 20 it was a 2-rated arc.
Yeah.
This is probably the shortest tournament
arc ever. I'm like, thank God.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that was another thing where I'm like, that's not the reason why I'm watching the show. You're not going to kill anyone here. This is not going to help.
You can't throw in a tournament right after you fucking murder someone.
No, and I'm like, not after what happened with Bulat. I'm like, guys, I'm not wanting to sit through a tournament right now.
So like when it started, I was like, we know who's gonna win because character plot armor.
True. They have somewhat plot armor there, just not in other things. But okay, so the other thing
ultimately I love the reason why they have this tournament. And it's the scene where the minister and the emperor were like basically reading
her list.
Reading Tatooine's Wikipedia.
The list was read. I was like, oh no.
She put a meme from Friends with Joey going, oh my God. As Mike just said, the Tatsumi Wikipedia page. One of my favorite one is I want him to be young so I can dominate him. It's like, damn it. S-Death's kinks come out a lot, and they make for some great dialogue. Accidental, where they're just like, gotcha, weird.
Boy.
Before we get there, you have a small part in the gift shop, or I should say the bookshop, which is a good thing to remember that Lubbock has it, because he's one of the few that are allowed out in public that they don't know that he's a member of Night Raid. Because there's a couple of jokes that come up with the fact that he owns a gift shop that has manga in it. Like, it exists in their world back then. But yeah, one important detail that you get to see is you get to see that S-Death actually used to be like basically borderline partners with Najinda, with Boss. Yeah. Now Boss used to have long hair. There's a joke of that comes up later. That's hilarious. But yeah, my favorite thing about that scene is we'll get into how ruthless it is, but I always love watching anime where they don't understand how basic physics work to make a scene cool. I was like, oh, she lights up or she freezes everything, which you get to see how powerful Esdeath is that she did that in a fraction of a second. And then they send a horde of horses across that ice. Like that's broken. That's broken leg USA. If that was real life, right there, you would have had just a field of dead and quivering pain horses.
Mm-hmm.
Anime logic.
Either she made the ice like incredibly thick enough that like all that weight would not break it, or I don't know, magic.
It's anime logic.
It's anime logic. Yeah, but you get to start seeing how powerful she is and how she can't not have war. It's very like, again, I have to remind people that her name literally translates to "I am a sadist." That's why it's. So I was always like, Esdeath is a really weird name because that seems like it should be a last name, but like I don't know if it ever says the first or last. But I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to make you want to kill me and then get more people so that I can kill them, and I'll probably release you again. I'm just like, what? And again, you find out what happened. I'm like, but what happened to you when you were younger? Who hurt you? Show me on the doll where they hurt you.
I don't think there are enough dolls.
There's not. It's partially other people's fault, and it's partially not. There was a screw loose in that computer chair from day one. Yes. You never quite functioned right. There was always a small crink. Something wasn't okay. But yeah, so the end. They have this tournament. Oh God, it's every time I see this, it's just how ridiculous that the Empire was just like, she just kidnapped him. Okay. But
cool.
You have Tatsumi kick the living shit out of that guy, which I thought was great. Which they're not very good. Well, I will say the anime is not that great about showing time.
Yeah, I'm never.
Yeah,
never
like I feel like
clear
our
how
moments
much
is like
time
2 rows.
passed.
Yeah. I like the little bit that I know from the manga, I'll let you know. Like there's a couple of times where they mention what time has passed, and sometimes between these attacks there's like months, but it doesn't seem like that. And again, I'll bring it up when I actually know the exact time frames. But yeah, there's sometimes a lot of time that passes by and you don't realize it. Where I was kind of like, he was barely fighting, and all of a sudden he's like Matrix Judo fighting the piss out of this guy. And I'm like, okay, sure, but it works. You have that cool little tournament. They're having it out in the open. Wave being a good old boy is officiating it. And then, what was the exact quote you said in the sound in the group chat?
Wait, for what?
For Esdeath.
Oh, yes, he could do a lot better than Tatsumi. I was like, girl, come on.
But he's an innocent boy that she can take advantage of.
But come on.
She's not wrong.
Just like,
I was like, girl.
She doesn't know what love is quite yet, and she thinks she knows it with Tatsumi. You gotta give her some credit.
No.
The best part is where it's just like, I get that reaction from you, and then I'm watching it with Crow, and he goes, well, he's a lucky bastard. Crow, as soon as he watched the full anime, was just like, Esdeath is waifu. I'm like, man.
I mean, she is, but like, she can do better than Tatsumi.
Those two's relationship throughout the anime, I didn't think was going to be borderlining on the main plot. It was like, this just comes out of nowhere. I'm like, what is this show? I don't know what it is anymore.
I don't know where it's going after that time.
I don't know either. But it's just like you have that happen. It's just in a crowd like, what the fuck?
One thing that is perfectly clear, though, Akame loves Tatsumi. It's
yes.
It has become like abundantly clear.
Yes, I am glad I stayed with my answer.
Oh, this is so. I
like
this.
that answer. I picked out the other one I was worried about.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Anything else that you guys, I guess, would like to talk about? Because, again, we just basically had the fight at the end outside of introducing characters.
I think we covered everything.
Okay. All right with that. That's fine. We'll see. We might record another one after this. We might not. We're going to have to see how time goes. But anyway, Mike, where can everybody
You
find
guys can find me on Twitter at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can find me in all the various Facebook groups just at my name. You can check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on the Banana Meter. Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor.
Damn it! I saw her cracking already before you got to it.
Listen to all of our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need to escape? So do we.
You can find me on Twitter at Cuba110028.
You can find me everywhere at Organic Zero. I will see